cotton and tobacco, figs, grapes, peaches, apricots, everything. Kusadasi is a nice little holiday resort area. Normally the population of the town is 9,500 in the winter, but during the high season it goes up to 250, 260,000 people. Lots of hotels, motels and the holiday villages are existing here at the spot. For instance, one of them is lying on the right hand side. It's the Caravanserai, the old Ottoman motel. The old Ottoman motel used to be one of the sheltering places of the caravans, bringing in silk and spices and the precious stones. Such kind of buildings have been built by the Seljuks and the Ottoman sultans to secure the trade routes coming from east to the west. Everything was provided free of charge. Everything was provided free of charge by the sultan's people, and approximately throughout the medieval ages and until 17th, 18th century, they had constructed over 200 different caravanserais on the high plateaus of Anatolia. This one happens to be one of the symbols of the city, and being run as a motel, as a hotel, and during the night time, it's serving as a nightclub and a discotheque. Throughout the history, had always been very famous, very important. The name of the city was then Scala Nova, which means the new scales, the new horizon, or the new city. Nowadays, the Turkish name is Kusadasi. In English, will be the Island of Birds. The Bird Island, you must have seen a little island jutting out of the mainland as you were docking in. There were thousands of birds living on the island. When it was connected to the mainland, the civilization caused the annihilation of the birds. So for the memory, the name was attributed to the town and the castle both. Now you can see the island back there with the pirate's castle, dating from 17th century. Nowadays happens to be the nightclub center of the town. After the public beaches, we are now passing by the marina, the new yacht harbor, a very popular one with the capacity of 625 boats. Again on the left hand side, on the top of the hill, we see Hotel Kismet. Hotel Kismet. Just for your information, on full board basis would cost 42 American dollars per person. Including all 3 meals and the bed would cost 42 American dollars per person. I told you this on purpose so you can have an idea. It's rather inexpensive. It's cheap. It is the hotel in the town, this one Hotel Kismet, even though it's a 4-star hotel, being run by the descendants of the lost Sultan's family. But it's a very proper place. All the celebrities and the people who visit Kusadasi would like to spend some time in that particular hotel. You see is what you get. Just a little town. From one end to the other, it's only 1.5 kilometers, which is less than a mile. So everything is within the walking distance. I would say it would take 10 to 15 minutes on foot. NATO. Being one of the members of NATO, we have frontiers with Greece, Bulgaria, a very long one with Russia, Iran, Iraq, and Syria. Since you will see the beautiful theater, it's a bit misty in the morning. Can you see the theater there, please, on the right-hand side? Straight ahead, up on the slopes, straight forward, you can see the silhouette of the beautiful theater as we get closer. And on the right-hand side now, we see the little fortress, little castle on the top. Look at the castle, please, right there. That's the little castle on the top. That's where he was imprisoned, and that's the place at the theater where he was preaching. While he was preaching, a silversmith named Demetrius, fearing a drop in the sales of silver and gold statues of Artemis, started a demonstration against the apostle. He shouted, "Great is Diana of the Ephesians! Great is Diana of the Ephesians," for several times. Only the calming words of the Grammateus, the head of the municipality, prevented the episode from reaching more alarming proportions. Later on, Paul was caught and he was put into the jail. When he was in the prison, a miracle happened. He broke his chains, escaped from Ephesus, went to Italy. As you know, in Rome he was executed. For the detailed information, I suggest that you read the New Testament, Acts of the Apostles, chapter 19. All the way down the road, on the other side now, on the left-hand side, we see those mulberry trees. Mulberry. White pot is the whitewash to protect the trees from the damage of the insects. Maybe you know, silkworm breeding is very important. We produce silk. Turkish silk is one of the very best ones in the world. Not only used for textile industry, but it's very good for the art of weaving. Making those silk carpets, those silk rugs are one of the main industries around here, which back at home you call them as the cream of the crop. Creme de la creme, they are coming from this region. Selçuk town now, Selçuk town, modern Turkish Ephesus. 25,000 people are living here. 25,000 people are living here. Just the passageway connecting the west to the south. Just the passageway connecting the west to the south. This is called modern Turkish Ephesus. Selçuk, S-E-L-J-U-K. To the left, it goes all the way down to Smyrna, Izmir, my hometown Smyrna. Remember, Smyrna figs, Smyrna grapes, Smyrna cotton, Smyrna tobacco, Smyrna carpets are only 40 minutes from here to the left. Whereas now, we are proceeding to the right. We will enter Ephesus from the upper gate, walk all the way down the remains, down the hill, meet our bus number 3 on the other side. We won't be coming back to the same place where we are entering the city. There will be 4 different ships at the harbor, 4 ships at the harbor. So this is Jason, John's group, bus number 3. Bus number 3. There might be other Cosmos groups from the other ships. So John's group, bus number 3. That's how I'm going to address you.
As he was on the way to Persia. The fourth city is the Byzantine castle and its surroundings, the ones which we've seen back there. The fifth one is the modern Turkish town, Selçuk. Since 1930, this particular Ephesus is being excavated by the Austrians on behalf of the University of Vienna. So far, they have managed to excavate 1/8 of the whole portion. In those days, Ephesus was on the route of silk and spices. This was one of the finishing points of the caravans, the intersection point of the east and west trade routes. There were 2 different societies, the Jews and the Gentiles. These guys were making their living by the land and the maritime commerce of those days, extending their arms like octopus all the way down the Aegean Islands and the Mediterranean colonies, making very good business, even with the Egyptians. In those days, Ephesus was the metropolis of Asia Minor. The city was accepted as the 3rd largest city of the ancient world. Number 1 was Antioch, number 2 was Rome, number 3 was Ephesus, with 250,000 people living. There were 250,000 people living at this particular spot. Starting now with this building, here we see the Odeon, the concert hall. Originally was built in Athens during the reign of Pericles. But when the Romans came to Ephesus, this was converted into a place of politics. It was used as a senate house, and the capacity is 1,400. On the right-hand side, where we see the archway where the people are now working, it's called the vomitorium. Not a place of vomiting, it's a place of caucus. They've been caucusing up there. They've been lobbying up there, whispering from one ear to the other as don't vote for Romanos, let's vote for Romulus. He's a better guy and he gives more bribes. Bribery was very important. Actually, still is now. Hasn't changed a bit, has it? Remember what the Bible says, nothing is new under the sun. So it still keeps on going. If we do turn around now, please, from this tripod back here, from this tripod right here, all the way down to those numerous arches on the right, the whole unexcavated part is the agora. The whole block lying in front of us is the agora. Agora means a forum, a large place where the people could come together, discuss the political and the economic problems of the city. This is the place of politics rather than commerce. First century BC, dating from the time of Caesar Augustus. Hasn't been completed. Proceeding now this way, we will see the town hall. What they do is to excavate one part, restore that particular place, and then excavate the next part. They don't excavate, bring everything out to light and then stop there, no. Because nature very easily disrupted. The Prytaneion of the city. This was the place where the perpetual fire of Hestia was burned. This was also the place of banquets and receptions. Floor was paved with mosaics. On the columns you can see some inscriptions written in ancient Greek all the way down. Since the sun is coming from the wrong angle, it's not illuminating the columns, but the inscriptions are all the way down, entirely covered by the inscriptions written in ancient Greek, giving us information about the laws and the rules of the city. Behind these Doric columns were the rooms belonging to the temple of Hestia, where the perpetual fire was burning, where those 18-year-old virgin nuns were devoting themselves by all means to the goddess. Their duties were to keep their virginity until the age of 40. After 40, they were all being set free, all being released. Then they had the chance of recognizing the new tastes, the new joys of life. That's why we say at the present time as a term that life begins at 40. Originally comes out of this place, because until 40 they were supposed to stay virgins and provide their utmost services for the honor of the city, for the cult of the temple. Afterwards they were all being set free, then they were introduced to a new life. That's why we says life begins at 40, originally comes out of this place. Or else it's not my wide and the wide imagination. I'm just a liar of the words of the archaeologists, you know. I'm innocent. Even the names of those girls were attributed to this particular street. This is called Street of the Virgins. Underneath these marble slabs, there are some hollowed out canals with a slight gradients, taking everything from here, directly leading up to the Aegean Sea. Behind the second crane to the right, you can see browns, beige, and the green colors. In those days, the color was blue, because the Aegean Sea used to come this much inland. Remember my words in the bus? I have told you that we're passing through the harbor of the city. That's the place. The platform, the meadow back there, is the famous, prosperous harbor of Ephesus. Proceeding now this way, we will see some mythical emblems, some symbols. Think from 4th century AD, actually late 3rd century I should say, with several mythical emblems. Here, for instance, we see a cup and a snake wrapped around the cup. You know what this means. This is the symbol of medicine, symbol of Caduceus, symbol of Asclepius, mentioning us the existence of a hospital somewhere around here. But we don't know where it's at. Could be here or there or this part, because the city hasn't been completely excavated yet. In ancient times, there were 3 important therapeutic centers: Epidaurus, Kos, and Pergamos. The one in the city of Pergamon was destroyed by a very, very severe earthquake in the year of 178 AD. So this one came into being. The reputation of this hospital was nobody died in. Can you imagine such a place where nobody died? Because at the entrance, those priests, considering themselves as doctors, were checking out the patients. Whenever they seemed that they would die inside, they were not permitted in. They did not permit anybody to mess up their statistics. Don't you love it? Such a nice place where nobody was dying. At the entrance on the arch was written, by the will of the gods, death cannot enter here. Most probably, the hospital was reserved for the hypochondriacs. Around the corner on this side, we see now the square of Domitian. Now, on this side, we see the square of Emperor Domitianus. These numerous arches from left to the right are the shops. Above the shops, it's the houses of the rich. Somewhere in the middle, where we see those steps and the vicarage, are the remains of the Temple of Domitian. The first temple, first sanctuary, constructed to happify a Roman emperor so that he could lower down the heavy taxes of Ephesus. First century BC, and hasn't been completely excavated yet. This part. Down the road now, over this way. With somebody around? Except the family down there. All the way down to the shops. Above the shops, it's the houses of the rich, overlooking at the Bay of Ephesus. And we see the library down there, the big facade, the beautiful building is the library. It's the red light district, the pubs, bars. That's the place of action. It's all the way down. The purpose of this quarter is now changing. Paul, John, Mark, Luke, Cleopatra, Julius Caesar, they all walk down this way. Every single part is original. At this moment, we understand better that the city lies on a small valley between these two mountain ranges. On the top of the hills, there lie some huge city walls, 9 kilometers in length, it's 7 meters in height. It's 9 kilometers is almost 6.5 miles. 7 meters is 22 feet in height, which made the city almost inaccessible. It was not that easy to conquer this Ephesus. The fronts of all these shops and the houses were decorated with the statues of important people, such as doctors, lawyers, kings, mayors, and the mythical creatures of the city. So this was something like an art gallery. On all those statue bases, there are always inscriptions like this one, written in Latin and Greek, giving us information about the laws, about the rules of the city, especially about the owner of the statue in praiseworthy terms. This is a well-known doctor, Dr. Alexandros. And back there, we see the Gate of Hercules. This is the Gate of Hercules. They came here and went to the upper city on foot, all the way down. Look at this, having a very serious aspect on the face. Sen biliyorsun ki benim tarzım değil orada o şeyi anlatmak, değil mi? Tarzımı iş yapmam yani. They've been lying on the floor while they were excavating. They've been all re-erected. Now proceeding this way, I'm going to show you the famous fountain of Emperor Trajan. We are now in front of the fountain of Emperor Trajan. Emperor Trajanus used to be a two-storied building. Both the upper and the lower parts, once upon a time, had been decorated with the statues of important people. Formerly, in the middle of the facade, there lied the colossal statue of the emperor. At the present time, the surviving base, with the 2 feet and the globe, had been restored to its original position. Attention, please. This globe symbolized as the earth, symbolized the world. With 1 foot on the globe, stepping like this, it says, I reign the whole world. I am the only emperor in the world. Which means they knew that the world was round. They expected this world to be round. How come? By the help of their natural philosophers, such as Thales, Anaximenes, Anaximandros, Heraclitus, Epictetus, all those people were either born here or they grew up in Ephesus. A well-known chap named Heraclitus, well-known physician, philosopher, he says, tapandari, tapandari, which in English means everything flows away. But that's a metaphor. He wanted to give us a message. He says, life goes away, beauty goes away, health goes away, wealth goes away, time goes away, everything goes away. Don't you forget, you only live once. Enjoy your time, forget about tomorrow. Tapandari. They did thoroughly enjoy their time with all those sumptuous debauchery parties, with all those orgies. Have you seen the films I, Claudius or Caligula? That kind of lifestyle was being performed in Ephesus City. All very rich, well-off people, good merchants, controlling the trade in this part of the world, controlling the Meander Valley and this prosperous harbor, several colonies. Without thinking of tomorrow, they were enjoying their time. And they knew that this beauty, this handsomeness, health conditions won't stay forever. So even though they knew everything about human anatomy, they were lacking the hygienic conditions. That's why people were dying at a very young age. 47, 48, 49, whatever, 46 was the maximum age, the utmost years that those people did live. If you do turn around now, please. What you see in the store soon will be opened as a museum of mosaics and pyramids. I've been everywhere in Turkey, but haven't seen anything better than these. Just gorgeous pieces are existing there. If we don't have the chance of finding there, at least I can show you a part of their promenade mentioning that relationship between the Muslim and the Christian arts. Right? Yeah. The blues are on the other, representing us the true cross of civilization. Here we see the fish. Look at the fish. Stylized fish. Look at the fish, please. Fish in ancient Greek. Fish in ancient Greek means ichthyes. It's an acronym. It's been formed by combining several initials. Those are Jesus, Christos, Theo, Theos, Sotir. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, our Savior. By putting these designs here, they have decorated their sidewalks, plus made the propaganda of the religion. At the present time, the gimmick is they've been adopted by the nomads. They have applied them on the Turkish carpets, which it shows us the influence of Christianity to the Muslimism, the goodwill, inspiration, and the tolerance of the Muslims to the Christians. They've been living on this motherland like brothers and sisters, from one generation to the other, from mother to the daughter, except from God. Here they are, here are the originals. Nowadays, the whites, reds, and the light blues, together with beige and the browns, are forming up the characteristic traditional colors of the Turkish carpets. That's the evolution. The very first floor of these houses were the shops. Before they went up there, they were providing their daily needs from these shops. The houses were mostly consisting of 2 or 3 bedrooms and the big living room. Mostly in the middle of the living room, there lied a little pool with an open-air dome. Whenever it rained, it was raining right into the pool. Whenever they had nice weather conditions, as they were lying on the centrally heated marble slabs, the girls were dancing, slaves were serving them nice wine and fruits. I mean, these guys were really partying out there, enjoying their good time there. They had all kinds of modern facilities, modern conveniences, plumbing system, drainage system, 24 hours round the clock, slave services, everything was there, with a nice view overlooking at the bay. Proceeding now this way, we shall see the Temple of cities, wishing to secure the friendship and support of Rome. A temple was especially constructed for the cult of the Roman emperor. Instead of paying taxes and taxes every year, with one particular year's tax, this was constructed and dedicated to him. On the first arch, we see Tyche, the goddess of fortune, the protective goddess of the city. On the second arch, we see Medusa, the Gorgon, snake-figured woman, Medusa, holding the tree of life on both sides. Look at your hairstyle, please. So much in fashion at the present time. On the inner walls, we see the reliefs depicting us the construction story of the city. The front part of the temple was decorated with 4 beautiful statues of the emperor. At the present time, there is another theory about these statues. They were not Hadrian's statues. They were belonging to Hadrian's boyfriends. He was familiar with young bright boys rather than the girls. His best boyfriend, Antoninus, was an Ephesian. he had visited Ephesus 6 times. And one day, when Antoninus learned that his love was unfaithful, he followed him until Delphi, and he committed suicide in that home. Because he had discovered that Hadrian had found already somebody young and younger and prettier with it. 2nd century AD building, second sanctuary constructed to happify a Roman emperor. Proceeding now this way, we will see something. If you need, you can use it.
Pubic.
Still have those at Canadian North.
Jeanette. This was a kind of club, so welcome to the club. Membership was a must. They were coming here early in the morning, sitting next to each other, having good time and good fun together. These seats were nice, cool and refreshing for the summertime, but about the winter, it was freezing cold. Since Romans liked their comfort so much, they were bringing in hot air or steam to run underneath their seats, lest they should catch cold. What do you think had happened when the system was broken off? Well, clever Ephesians always found a solution. What they did was to send their slaves half an hour ahead of their arrival time to warm up their seats. In this city, there are lots of temples, lots of monuments. In my concept, this is also a temple. I call this as the Temple of Diarrhea. Once you have it, you would love to stay inside. The walls are covered with frescoes. The floor was paved with mosaics. In front of us, we see a little ditch, little canal, containing continuously running cold water to wash themselves. In the middle, there was a pool, which had redfish or goldfish inside for decorative purposes. It was covered with a wooden roof. It was covered with a wooden roof. At times, even the Roman emperors sent some undercover spies to sit down here with the locals, learn their political views as they were exchanging, several gossips around here. So this was the place. I'm sorry, folks, I don't have my morning newspapers together with me now. So while you're posing, you can pretend as if you have the expression of agony, which must be followed by ecstasy. Take your pictures, off we go. No, men and women, I said. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll get this ready. We need some privacy now. You filming, Adrian?
Oh, go ahead, doesn't matter.
Well, it's absurd, isn't it? Must standing round.
Very fine acoustics. The largest building of the city, the largest amphitheater, which has been brought to light among all the other Aegean and the Mediterranean countries, reaches a height of 30 meters, could seat 24,000 people. Yes. This is the place where the famous gladiatorial fights were being performed. This is the place where Apostle Paul had preached. Every single part is original, except this corner. That's the restored part. There are 2 tunnels on both sides, reserved for the wild beasts. The one underneath the stage building is the gate of the gladiators. That's the gate of the gladiators. Leads up to the backstage. At the present time, the theater is being used for the art and the cultural festivals of Ephesus. Many folk dancers and singers will come from various parts of the world, perform so many shows in the theater. And in the recent years, we have had several performances by Ray Charles, Jose Feliciano, John Baez, Aldi Meola, Paco de Lucia, Chick Corea, Miles Davis, Sarah. A couple of days ago, it was Martha Graham from New York, Leningrad Philharmonic Orchestra last week. This Sunday night, 2 days from now on, it's going to be Tanita Tikaram. Next week, 27, it's Julio Iglesias. He's going to sing here. It has got very fine acoustics. And when archaeologists excavate an ancient city, they first excavate the amphitheaters to understand how large, how big the cities were. They count the number of the seats and multiply it by 10. In this case, not the exact, but the approximate population of the ancient cities would come out. So 24,000 times 10 would be 240,000 people. Plus the number of the slaves, it's going to be 260,000 people living in Ephesus. That's how the city achieved the fame of being the third largest city of the ancient world. Number 1 was Antioch, number 2 was Rome, number 3 was Ephesus, number 4 was Alexandria. Now, do not spend your films in vain. I do have a better place for you where you can take better pictures for the whole scope of the theater. Best way. It was the shops of the silversmiths. These guys had a very strong guild, controlling the commerce, all the business around here, making their living by selling the silver and the gold statues of Artemis. Imagine if everybody became Christians, who's going to buy those statues? It was a fight for economical reasons. So in the name of God, provoking the shopkeepers in the Agora, shouting in the theater, great is Diana of the Ephesians, great is Diana of the Ephesians. Later on, Paul was caught and he was put into the jail, way down on the top of the hill. That's the prison of Apostle Paul. That is the prison of Apostle Paul. This was the most important street where the most important ceremonies were being performed. Even Cleopatra and Mark Antony came hand in hand in a chariot being dragged by 6 white horses covered by gold plates, and the people on both sides were cheering. They were throwing flowers to the famous couple. Nowadays, there is a project. Maybe they are going to join this street directly to the Aegean Sea. So those little ships, yachts, the boats, will have the chance of coming in. But 20 years from now on, because it's a 20 years time project by UNESCO and the Turkish government.
$1. Postcard, $1.
Right-hand side, Mark.
Well, after strolling through the seats, I was happy to hear once again that you did enjoy your visit to Ephesus city. Besides Ephesus, we have lots of other places to offer to you in our country. Don't forget that we will be very happy to see you once again back in Turkey. You're always most welcome. I wish all the happy and good days to be together with you. Have a very nice trip and a safe one until home. God bless you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's thirst quenching, it's hot. Be careful, it's hot though. It's good stuff, apple flavor. You will enjoy it as you're sipping it, and then what's the nice pieces is going to be introduced to us. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Morning. I would like to welcome you all to Turkey and express you to our establishment, Ephesus. This is our demonstration center, approved by the government to illustrate Turkish handmade carpets, jewelry, and leather. Before I start, actually, whoever comes along, as being part of our tradition, we always offer them a refreshment. So how would you like to have a couple of apple tea? Ali Baba! Well, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, did you all have a good time in Ephesus? Yeah. So, just for my curiosity, the town or region of origin. Precious handmade carpets are the result of long months of arduous labor, require great skill and dexterity to produce. That's why they are mainly made by these young Anatolian girls, because they have also immense patience, keen eyesight, and nimble fingers. A carpet maker's responsibility starts by selecting the proper wool fleece, dyeing it to traditional colors with all natural earth dyes, spinning the yarn, selecting the pattern, and finally weaving the carpet. This may be primitive, but nevertheless it's vertical integration that also makes every Turkish carpet is unique, and it is out of the question to find a matching pair. Here in Turkey, all our carpets are made by hand with a special double knotting system, which is called the Gördes knot. This method differs from that of the machine made and any other oriental carpet, who use a single knot called zende knot. The double knot system also has specific advantages. First of all, dust does not go through the system. It's retained, therefore no underlay is required. Secondly, the pile cannot be picked, especially useful if you have pets or small children. Of course, the third big advantage is the work double. It means the same in my country as it does in yours, double life, double durability. According to the type of materials used, we divide Turkish carpets into 4 categories. In our first category, we would like to present our wool-on cotton combination carpets. The first wool-on cotton combination carpet comes from central part of Turkey, from the area called Konyaaltı, from the land of the whirling dervishes. It has 222 double knots to the square inch. The first sample, which comes in 6x9, has over 2 million double knots and is the result of one girl's 2 years worth of patience to complete. Devam ediyoruz. As you see, they mostly work around the central pattern of a large medallion design. The second wool-on cotton combination carpet comes from a well-known little town called Hereke. If you know a little bit about Turkish carpets, you would know these particular pieces. They are world famous, containing 365 double knots to the square inch. And this size, which is slightly larger than 5x7, has over 2.5 million double knots and is the result of one girl's 2 years worth of patience to complete. They have the most number of knots after the pure silk ones. And they are also ideal for high traffic areas and larger rooms. But same design, same colors since the 10th century, and also it rolls down softly, just like an Indian blanket. Tones of blue created out of an indigo plant, and red color is obtained from cochineal insect. The fourth sample comes from central part of Turkey, from the area called Yahyalı, in the heart of Cappadocia, which is very famous with its pale chimneys. You can see 7 different great colors come together in perfect harmony. Also, runner sides will be available. The fifth nomadic sample comes from Turkish Mediterranean Riviera of Antalya, from the area called Döşeme Altı. The people mostly inhabit the mountains, that's why they illustrate their carpets with typical nomadic designs. The designs is always symbolic, such as, you can see, scorpion in the center represents fertility. Footprint of a camel represents the movements of the nomadic tribes. And also, 5 stars on the borders symbolizes a number of times a day each Muslim should pray. The good ones do. The bad ones like us sell carpets.
We're in Kusadasi in Turkey. You can see that we're not the only cruise ship to be here. There are 3 others besides us at this particular time, and we are just looking around Kusadasi now, shopping, and from here we'll get back to our ship, and we'll go on to Patmos, and we'll arrive there late this afternoon. Then tomorrow morning we'll arrive back in Athens, Piraeus, and we'll fly back to London. Leading away from harbor. Kusadasi is a very, very small town, resort, and of course with these ancient sites near it. Catch ferries here. We've been on the boat for 7 days now, and when we're standing on shore, we seem to be still rocking back and forth. So occasionally the camera will move. It's because I'm almost falling over. This is the Grand Bazaar. And again, same types of wear that are sold here. Leading away from harbor. Kusadasi is a very, very small town, resort, and of course with these ancient sites near it. Catch ferries here. We've been on the boat for 7 days now, and when we're standing on shore, we seem to be still rocking back and forth. So occasionally the camera will move. It's because I'm almost falling over. This is the Grand Bazaar. And again, same types of wear that are sold here. The side of the mountain, and just more and more stores. Some little side streets.
Mica su canale che dà, ma non mi dà con la mia ora qua. Ma
Cazzo, è là, da pane. È là da pane, sta cara. È là. Che può pane?
Non riesco ora. Mira que ahora este Julio Reda chef tahta. Ja super. Oriste.
Okay, bye-bye.
So just walking towards the cruise ship now. There's the Oceanus. City of Mykonos. There are 2 cruise ships, 3 of them here. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side. So all these cruise ships have come in. There's that island that he was talking about before. And of course it's now connected to the mainland. So this is Kusadasi. So I'll just walk back to the ship now, put my camera in the cabin and get the battery charged up for later this afternoon in Patmos. So this isn't our ship, but ours is much like this one, about the same size. The Oceanus, of course, is bigger. There's the Cunard Line ship, which is from England. Cruise ship, and there's the Greek one that we're on adjacent right here. As near as I can figure, our cabin is about here. Just leaving Kusadasi, Turkey.
that tap now.
Wait on that tap inside it.
Ready. One small out, 10 millimeters. Okay, now we're going to do T.
Right then.
And
That's what it is, ladies. Now, tango, slightly relax knees. The body is up. The knees very much. Ah, wait a minute. If we start here and we'll go around this way. Come over here, ladies. We'll go around behind them.
okay.
That's it. Keep it down.
Can we try that to music?
Yeah.
So, after we visit Kusadasi and Ephesus, again dance lessons on board the ship.
At the back, so I can't put the mic there.
I would suggest. Back in your right boot, doing time.
Behind it, like without the sound. It's coming up now.
My God, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Yeah, we have done it.
Okay. Very easy. Ladies, step back. Ladies are walking back.
Ladies, if we walk backwards, we walk backwards and follow round. All right. Turn the other way and we'll follow behind. That's it.